team called the morning steam. It's time to break one for cover. That's gonna cover, that's gonna cash. Then we make the 100-yard dash to the window. I don't know what you thought. It's Ramon Scott running so hot. Sports make money and we make money with sports money every single day. NFL, NHL, NCAA. Stay away from the juice or might play a parlay. It's the morning steam. What? Ramon Scott. Sports money. What? Wake your ass up and let's get to the money. Get to the money. You know how we do it.
All right, and a pleasant good morning to you from the sports betting capital of the world, Las Vegas. This is Ramon Scott, and welcome to the Morning Steam show for Thursday, February 13th. We've got a slow sports betting day, but we'll find some great games to talk about and preview the action tonight in the NBA as we get ready for the All-Star break and as well as college basketball. It's mid-major Thursday, so get your pens, papers, and scorecards ready for the action tonight in college basketball. We'll talk a little Four Nations as well, recap last night's game a little bit and see what you thought of the action on the ice. We're still in the break there too, so maybe we'll have a short show here today, but I can find a few games to talk about. I'm watching some great action right now from Doha Qatar here, and Jesse Pagula having all kinds of issues here right now about heading down to defeat here in this one. Came in here $1.65 favorite or so. The move was definitely on Ekaterina Alexandrova, and she's probably just a couple games from wrapping this one up. Bit of an upset here in tennis coming up. Also, Iga in action next against Rybakina, about to start here in just after this one. So there's some fun action here today, and we're getting ready also for action out in San Diego with the Genesis Open. Today we have the golf tournament that usually is played in Los Angeles. We played in San Diego this week due to a little bit of damage or circumstances surrounding the wildfires in LA. So they'll play Torrey Pines, they'll play the South Course, and that gets underway today. And I've got my best plays for the Genesis Open over at winnable.com. You can pick up my free plays right now for the golf tournament. I've selected 7 golfers. They don't include Scotty Scheffler or Rory McIlroy. Those guys will be tough to beat this week on a world championship course like Torrey Pines, but I've got 7 pretty modestly priced golfers that you can use in some top 5s, top 10s, top 20s, some matchups, some groups, or you could take a shot on some of these guys. I think these are the best values in golf today, so check them out over at winnable.com/Ramon. My picks for the Genesis Open, and you're welcome to put yours in the chat as well. All right. And let me say hello to some folks here as we get the show going today here. Oh, Toucan is first up, and he says, well, how about the hockey last night with the Four Nations opening night with Canada and Sweden? Canada 4-3, Mitch Marner, well-deserved goal, a big moment for Marner. Certainly the Swedes came back from a 3-1 deficit to tie the game and force that overtime. So, look, it's part World Championship, it's part exhibition, it's part All-Star game. These prices are a little bit steep. USA's already been steamed this morning to as high as $3.75 right now at some spots, some square shops here. So I don't want to lay anything like, even though this is supposed to be a bigger mismatch than last night's game, even even though Canada's the tournament favorite. Finland, I've already said I want to put a little something on them at 7-1, and they went up to 9-1. So I'm sure they're going to be the worst team in the 4-team event. But come on, I don't see the motivation out there. We'll see tonight. Maybe the Americans will have something, but it just seems like another NHL game to me. It's going to be a 1-goal game late. There's going to be some scoring, if you will, and maybe tonight it'll be 4-3 also. I don't want any part of any 375 favorites. To me, I don't think we're getting a super world-class world championship hockey, and if we were to get that, maybe it'll change as the games move along here for the next few days. But Canada was supposed to be by far the best, and while they did come through in clutch fashion, they didn't cover that spread, so to speak. So we'll see what happens tonight. Good morning, everyone. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, Sports Money, here on YouTube. Fastest growing sports betting channel on YouTube. Hope you joined us last night over on Kick, the future of sports betting television, hopefully, or YouTubing, or streaming, or something. Thanks for Razor for having me over there late. I feel like they did it just for me because I want to try something over there with you guys. And look, we don't have a consistent schedule on this just yet. We don't even know what we're doing, but had a good time watching some of the late basketball last night. We had some wagers come through. We had some winners. We had some losers to be continued. But last night in the NBA, we did have a few nice winners yesterday, including premium pick winner on the Washington Wizards against the Pacers. It was back and forth, up and down. Also want to note the consensus play with me and Mikey on the afternoon show on the over in that game between Indiana and Washington. We also had the winner here on the show, Charlotte and Orlando game to go under. Who had that one? Mikey Money as well. So double consensus winners between Mikey and I there, and we did it again with the Hawks. If you would have put us together, we were sweeping this board yesterday. It felt like I gave out the Hawks on the morning show. He gave it out on the afternoon show. So we were off to a roaring start there with the 7 p.m. games going 3-0. I did have some other winners here yesterday, including the Brooklyn Nets on the show. Also had a premium pick winner on the Detroit Pistons yesterday. Also a premium pick winner with Lakers and Utah game to go over. Certainly concerns right there with the Lakers kind of overlooking the Jazz. Remember, some of the Jazz problems certainly came when they were missing their top players, and there's no doubt that you look at Utah, not going to the playoffs, nothing like that. But when you take a look at Markkanen and Kessler, and those guys are in there and healthy and playing like they did last night, and the Lakers coming off the emotional victory, I think, of the first kind of team up together. So good job by Utah last night. Also, we did have Dallas Mavericks here on the show yesterday, and also we had the over with Memphis and Clippers late in pro basketball. College basketball was exciting. So we were on last night over on Kick, and we were watching at all at the same time these crazy overtime games from yesterday. Texas Tech over Arizona State, 111-106, and it was actually in double overtime. Tech has won 8 of their last 9 games. And the other double overtime game we watched, Notre Dame and Boston College. And Notre Dame won it, overcoming a 41-35 halftime deficit to win 97-94 in double overtime. Boston College, we did have in that game what was it there? Over on another show, I gave out the over on that game, but still, Boston College has lost 9 of their last 10 games overall. With that one, Florida State beat Wake 72-70. Also, TCU edged Oklahoma State. TCU hit a 3-pointer with 0.4 of a second left to win in that one, and Villanova, bit of an upset, over St. John's to snap St. John's 10-game losing streak. Also, Cleveland State lost last night. And Robert Morris all of a sudden is kind of the hot team. Vikings still lead the horizon by 2 games with 5 left, but nonetheless. And New Mexico rallied last night to beat Wyoming. We were talking about it on the air there over on Kick, saying, hey, look at this. New Mexico struggling here at home with Wyoming. They'll get it done. They did 7th straight win in college basketball. We had winners here on the show. Iowa and Rutgers game, 2 go under, easy winner. Also, another one, Mikey and I believe, teamed up on this one. Or no, Mikey had it. St. Bonaventure and Rhode Island game, 2 go under. Great job there. He also had Davidson and UMass game to go under on pre-gaming there yesterday. We did have a premium pick winner, VMI and Greensboro game under. Man, here's another winner for Mikey in that Robert Morris Cleveland State game. He had the under. I had Georgia Tech as a premium pick winner, and we also had the under on the show here in that one. Louisville here on the show. Winner yesterday. Southern Illinois and Bradley game total 2 go under was a winner. Southern Miss game over with Arkansas State as well, and we had Missouri. Mikey cleaned up on those college basketball totals, I promise you that. All right, so hello to Joe W. here. Blue is here today. Nick Handy, hello, and appreciate you guys coming in here today. Blue says, look, Celtics got it, right? Maybe they're going to stop being in form there with some of those losses. Bobby Mack is here, ready to roll today. Perky is here. He had a fun time last night with us in the show, staying up late. I think he had some winners, though, because I know he had the Missouri Tigers like I did, and we rolled in that one. Maybe just had a long night. Lando's here as well. And Thomas says St. John's in that game, their shooting was the woes of St. John's, he says, in that game. There was no doubt. St. John shot less than 30%, I would imagine, from 3-point range. They were much better inside, so I'm not sure why they kept going for those long shots, because they were very, very solid inside. All right, and Terrell is here. All right, I'm going to have some plays over at winnable.com today with my best plays over there. You can catch them over at winnable.com. I'll have a pretty good package hopefully today in college basketball, as well as the few NBA games. Like I said, you can get my free plays right now over there for the Genesis Open starting in just a couple of hours. I have 7 golfers selected for this week at Torrey Pines. So if you're not already signed up to the free, I know we got a lot of you already here on it. I really appreciate that. And if not, you can click the QR code in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. Takes you to a browser-based a platform there. It works on your computer or on your phone. You get my little picture up there and all those. There's some prices. There's some paywall picks there, and that's how you support me here on the channel. I'm going to give you a bunch of free picks, hopefully right now, that are winners. But really, I saved my best plays here to entice you to go over there and be a part of my fam and our fam here at the Sports Money Network. I call those my Sports Money picks, and you can get them over at winnable.com. All right, we got some steam coming in, so that's a good transition here. Use the promo code STEAM, and if you do $19.95 a month, it comes out to about 50 cents a day, and you get probably a couple dozen plays on average. And you can play them all, you can play them none, you can fade them, you can take them, or you can compare them to what you're doing. And I think it's just good to have more additional information, and that's kind of my paywall platform. All right, Old Dominion and Georgia State taking some steam to start us off here with the morning steam. And in this one, it is under is the steam here. In a series, it definitely goes under. When Old Dominion and Georgia State play, they go under quite a bit. Steam is coming in right now at 150 down to 149. Old Dominion and Georgia State just got steamed to the under. Man, Jessie Pegula was out of gas against Alexandrova. She got waylasted. All right. Also, just as we were going to the promo, Miami and Dallas getting hit here to the under. And, well, full disclosure, well, let's see here. I'm going to make a little switcheroo because I believe in this steam, and I was gonna come with it. Hey, we have a lot of games today. If I want to tease something here, I'm probably going to move that to the premium now. That under, yeah, we're going to lose some value here, but it just seems very popular right now with the sharps here. This under with Miami and Dallas just got steamed here right now, and it's all the way down to 221 here at some spots. So the steam came in on the under with Miami and Dallas. Actually, still looks like it might have a little value, or I would say value. It's moving to the under for sure. All right. And let's get going with our coverage today of the NBA. Let's make this one quick. And Cash Cane's here. Also, Nate DeGreat. And Nate talking about that Clippers game last night. And look, I'm a believer. I think Memphis has been great too. I think the Clippers are going to be pretty interesting moving forward. So we'll see. But we had them. We had them last night. Let's see here. Oh, we had the over in that game. So okay, here we go. Let's go to the coverage. And we'll start off with the Kings taking on the Pelicans here. With the Kings, going to be a pretty big road favorite, and they're seeming to be on the move here, all the way up to 8. It was as low as 6.5, and the total here has dipped for sure down to 236, maybe even 235.5 on some widely reported steam here in this one, and there's no doubt that this has been a completely dominated Pelicans series over the last couple of years. So, you could include some trends in your coverage to make it, keep me talking here for an extra half an hour on things maybe that don't mean anything in the big picture. Maybe they do. I always think they do. But when it comes to this series, it has to be noted that the Pelicans have covered 8 of the last 9 against the Kings. And yes, maybe the Pelicans were better. Maybe the Kings weren't as good as they were now, but they've definitely come back down to earth too here. Pelicans are no good. We know that, but there are some spots where they are able to get the money, even if they keep losing these games. Still, it's going to be tough for a lot of people to want to get there, I'm sure, with New Orleans right now. 5 straight meetings between these two teams have gone under here when they play in New Orleans, and 8 of the last 11 games overall between the two teams have gone under. Maybe that kind of explains the move here to the under. These two teams have already met for their other 3 meetings this year. Kings won them all, although they failed to cover in 2 of those games, one here, one there, as 7 and 8 point favorites. So New Orleans actually has gotten the money in 2 of the 3. And in fact, the last game that Sacramento covered was their first cover in the series in 8 games, obviously, or in 9 games when they won by 8 as a 6 point favorite. So they got the money, I will say barely, getting it by 2. That's pretty okay. But still, it's been New Orleans series. So maybe they still just have enough to kind of keep things in check against the Kings, who are, a fine team doing a pretty good job here. They're still 14 and 22 as a favorite against the spread. So New Orleans is the only team with injuries here in this game, as Sacramento has a pretty clean bill of health here. But it's really the long-term injuries that we already knew about. So, all right, let's see what you have here. Dare I say, I think I'm already probably leaning to this home dog. It's an ugly home dog, and I'm going to have trouble convincing anybody, I'm sure, to do it. So Thomas Lewis, though, does like the over here in this one with these two. Look, if you look at the series history between, like I said, as I just said, the series history kind of points to the under. But if you look what the teams are doing this year, you would gravitate to the over, I would think, with these two teams, especially New Orleans, 17-9 to the over at home. Kelly does like the New Orleans team total under. Hello to Kelly. I like that little, like a sunrise postage stamp. Cash Kane says, but he does take the Pelicans here with me there, I think. And Kelly says, this is a big losing streak right now. I know. That's probably why I'm only going to give it away here as my play on the show with the New Orleans Pelicans. Look, I mean, professional basketball team somewhere along the lines got to be able to cover some games, right? And here you have an increased price on Sacramento, truly as much as a point and a half, maybe even higher over some of those opening lines. And yes, because New Orleans has played so poorly, but I would think if they're going to have any chance to kind of cover a game where maybe the series history, just a little bit of matchup could do it for him here. All right. And Thomas also saying the cover for the Pelicans. Kelly says, just tease it down. You can put it in with something else in there. All right. Give me the Pelicans today. Also, as mentioned there by Irish King, last day here. So who's going to care? Who's not? I'm not using that as the handicap. But I will say that could make volatility go up in a card like this, right? So I'll try the Pels here. Look, the Kings have given it back here a little bit after that incredible start with Coach Christie. Everyone knows I'm a fan of his. And they're winning again. They're winning again right now. 3 straight wins coming in. So good on for Sacramento. They beat New Orleans, Dallas. They beat New Orleans twice here. What are they doing playing all their games here all together like this? Steam coming in right now. I do want to check this out. But have they really played like 3 games over the last 5 days? Like, hey, let's just get all these out of the way. All right. And that's Kelly's specialty here. I thought you should help us out there with the recency bias or whatever it is. Okay, Irish King there's got some stuff. How about Cal Poly? Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo taking a little bit of steam here right now in their game against Fullerton today. Funny, the total in the game is 154. It was only a season or two ago Cal Poly couldn't score 124 points in a game. Right? Am I right about that? Anyway, Cal Poly getting steamed here from 6 up to 7 or so today with their game on the road here against Fullerton. Not only could they not score points, they couldn't win games on the road. All right, Appalachian State here getting steamed right now with their matchup against Coastal. App State here was a 7.5 point favorite. It's up to 8 or so here with App State getting steamed here this morning on the Morning Steam Show. All right. Thank you, Irish King. Yeah, Kelly said they're playing each other every day. So I don't know. Could you put that in your handicap? Who does that favor? Does it favor a team that is the better team right now playing hotter? Or does it say, hey, you know what? We're not good, but maybe we can measure these guys now a little bit. They look like just the other team, just another team. Hello to Wine Time today. He can help us out with his NBA expertise with these two teams playing for the 3rd time in 4 games against one another, basically. All right. Let's go on to another good. This is not a bad schedule. It's not the best. But like going to the high school dance and getting, not knowing who to choose. All right. Warriors and the Rockets here in this one. You've got another kind of a big mover in a way, I think, here with the Rockets. Now, look, got to look at the games from yesterday, right? Because everybody is on the back-to-back. So you could also maybe, I don't know if I wanted to, throw it in there, the Kings-Pelicans game because they are back-to-back, but I just Delaware right now is getting steamed here. in their matchup right now. Delaware against Towson. Delaware was an 8-point dog. They're down to 7 here, close to 7. Delaware taking the steam right now in that one. And look, I lost with the Pelicans yesterday. I get that. All right. Get back to the action here a little bit. All right. And with the Warriors and the Rockets in this one. And look, this one, like I said, kind of a getaway here for the Rockets. This one's been totally adjusted. It feels like it's actually starting to go down a little bit. We're starting to see a little bit of movement here on the Warriors. Maybe that means Curry will be in the lineup. Was talk maybe he could take today's game off here towards the break. The Rockets have a few issues here with Steven Adams out of the lineup. Tari Eason also out of the lineup here tonight. Fred's been out, and they tell me that's been bad news. Now, the Rockets were able to overcome the Suns yesterday and still get the money. It wasn't easy. For sure. In fact, the Suns got all the way in there. Suns were playing well and winning the game, right? And all of a sudden, the Rockets kind of came back and were creeping up in there. And then it took the lead at the very end of the game and kind of blew past them and got the money. But here, maybe you are laying a little bit of a number again all of a sudden. I mean, yes, the Warriors might be perceived as that veteran team off the back-to-back, but since they, I think if you look at the fact that they lost the game yesterday to Dallas. Look, I was on Dallas here on the show as a home dog. But the Warriors, this is another one where the series history is heavy to Golden State. Golden State's won 15 of the last 16 meetings against the Houston Rockets. Now, I don't care if the Houston Rockets are the greatest young team in all of basketball or whatever, and the Warriors are old, long in the tooth, and now have some new personnel. 15 of 16, yes, the Warriors were way better. The Rockets were not as good as they were now, but there has to be something to that. They've also covered the last 5 in a row, or maybe the teams were a little bit closer in comparison. Houston, pretty strong at home, no doubt. And Houston's gone under in 4 of their last 5 games overall coming in. So interesting matchup here. Golden State on the road against Houston. Houston's won 2 straight over Phoenix and Toronto. Coming into this one. Meanwhile, Golden State off the loss now snapped their 2-game winning streak from last time out. Golden State's also gone over in 5 straight games as an underdog. And Houston not covering right now as a favorite. Houston's failed 6 straight as a favorite right now. We know they had some woes before winning these last 2 games. Remember, they were on a losing streak. And even though they have won these last 2 games against Phoenix and Toronto, they didn't cover the spread. All right, let's go to the chat and see here with, Kelly said Golden State 8-2 in this series. It's been a dominance. Houston, here's an under here for Thomas. And I think if you look at it in general, Houston is going under. Golden State wants to take you over a little bit right now. James Barham, good morning. Hello. Cash Kane says Warriors here. And I think, I think it is fair to say that, maybe we could wait for more Curry info. But I don't know. To me, it's gone all the way up, right? It kind of indicates maybe that he would not play, I think, at 6.5, right? Because otherwise, I still think, even with as well as the Rockets have played, I would think the line would be a little bit lower. I mean, the send out was like 1 or 2. the sundown. When I say the sundown, most of the books will adhere to the line services sending out your, here's your suggestion. Here's what we suggest. And then you adjust on the personnel info. That's how they do it. I'm no expert. I've never worked in a sports book, but I follow these guys closely, closer than they might think. All right. So let me see here. Any more in the chat with the folks? Robert liking the under there. All right. James Parham, Golden State. All right. And Thomas says, you tease some of these games, you might get some stake money. Hello to Old E today.
Steam playing.
UTEP is taking that steam right now. I'll get you my play in just a moment in the NBA, but UTEP taking some steam here right now in their game today against Florida International. They were a 9-point favorite. They're up to 10 or more here. UTEP taking the steam against FIU. All right. There's Jermaine. He's ready. We got college basketball is going to be all about Jermaine today. I mean, come on. It's mid-major Thursday. I think we got one decent game, it feels like, to look at. All right. I'm going to go ahead and take the Warriors. I can't pass on this. I've got to try the Warriors here, and you know how big I am on something like that. Yes, I understand the Rockets are great. Look, I was mentioning last night with the guys on the Kick Show. You would think, right, if you were a team like Golden State that's had a rough year, right, maybe they're marginal at best for making the postseason. They don't have, what are they lacking, right? They have interesting talent, certainly, with guys like Pajemski, but adding Jimmy Butler, you'd think this would make a team a championship contender. Isn't this guy, or is it true, does everyone think that he will bring down the team in tow with his troublesome ways? Because you would think an addition like that to go up there with Curry, yeah, they have every limitation that a lot of the teams in the West have. They don't have Nikola Jokic. All right. Here we go. Oh, Jermaine, someone's giving him the business. All right. Thomas says the Rockets are turning around. Yeah, they are. They were in a little slump there, and now they've won 2 straight. But again, I don't think they didn't cover those, and now you're going to ask them to cover an increased price a little bit. Hopefully Curry's in there, but, and another thing I was commenting last night, and I agree. Hey, look, I'm not ever going to tell someone to bet they don't have all the info that they want to have, but it's my job to try to speculate on who's going to be in and who's going to be out, and then you can take advantage of the line. It's always great when the move comes in and you're like, we knew it. All right, let's keep it going right now. Jermaine's got some props here in this one. A good card, man. I think it's a good card. Heat and Mavericks. I remember, wasn't this one of the NBA Finals once? All right. The Heat here on the road, a 1.5-point favorite. The total's down to 221.5. It seems like here right now. And the steam came in on the under here with these two, and the way it's going, why wouldn't it? Why isn't this game down there with some of those funky 214s or something? Maybe I'm wrong here. These guys aren't totally trending over here necessarily this season, but I know the Sharps are kind of all over Dallas right now as a home dog coming into this one. Maybe the initial move was on Miami here. Like I said, it was 2. It's definitely down to 1.5. Miami's lost 3 in a row right now, all of a sudden, coming in with losses against Oklahoma City, Boston, and Brooklyn. Dallas, meanwhile, has been covering every game in sight. We just said it. Yes, we're going to make fun of this guy making the worst trade in NBA history. All they've done so far since the trade appeared to be initialized, you could say they're 4-0. Really, when we caught wind of it, they're 5-0 against the spread since the trade was sent in motion, is what it feels like at this point. could argue was just 4, but had already been kind of teased. So, can they keep it up here now that they are a home dog to the Miami Heat? Oh, I guess all of a sudden the Heat is all fixed as well with getting rid of Butler, so we can put them in as a road favorite. Now we know Dallas has some injuries, some big time injuries that are a problem right now with Gafford out. I mean, that feels like kind of the biggest one to a certain extent right now in the short term. But you have PJ Washington out. Of course, you got Powell questionable, Exum questionable, but Miami's got some guys on there too. Kevin Love questionable, Duncan Robinson questionable, Terry Rozier questionable, Hero probable.
Final.
And sometimes that's enough for some people right now, the way he's going. But I don't know. I mean, you know what? Hey, we all didn't get a chance to be general manager of a team and take a chance on somebody. You know, maybe there is. I'm not saying Luka doesn't go on to be the 10-time All-Star we know he is. But maybe maybe he will lack the championship fortitude. They didn't win it with him last year. Not to say it wasn't awesome. So, all I was saying, though, about the situation with Dallas making the call, right? Everyone said, hey, Mark Cuban doesn't even own the team anymore. He's not calling the shots. Well, he might be pulling some puppet strings, this guy's just got to take the heat. Remember, the deal was I'm selling you the team and I'm still running the team, is kind of what the position of what Mark Cuban is. I think they gave him a title of like general manager emeritus. What's the word? Can't even pronounce it. All right. I'm going to take the Dallas Mavericks. Was that a handicap or was I just making shit up? All right. Anyways, I'm gonna take them here. Look, I think they kind of own the series with the Miami Heat. Now we know that this is more of a, I'm not going all the way back to when they played for the title, but Dallas has been pretty hot, 6-1 covering the spread. Their last 7 at home, 5 in a row. Of course, like I said, Miami has gone under in 6 of their last 7 on the road, and 5 of their last 6 overall. And that might be the direction. I know you're probably going to be some overs in there in the chat, I think, because Dallas is a dog and they've been going over of late. But let's see what you guys have. All right. Cash Kane. Let me go back here. Thomas is on Miami, but Cash Kane likes the Mavs on the money line. And Jermaine says, you got to look at Dallas on the back-to-back. They're going over here quite a bit, and their team total going over right now. Yeah, I just thought the number came high for me, though, especially with what we've talked about with Miami here a little bit of late. It feels like Miami's the under team here for sure. 11-17 to the under on the road, 12-17 to the under as a favorite. They're a road favorite. Okay, Thomas said, gotta look at those injuries there. And, you got, maybe Kyrie is supposed to be. We didn't mention Anthony Davis because we know that Anthony Davis' situation is unfortunately, it seems like back to square one. Right? They remember when he injured his abdominal. Remember, and I panicked and I said, "This is not good." And he was out for the first week, and I said, "Hey, you know what? He's coming back a little bit early." And all of a sudden, got shipped out. Came back for the one game, couldn't make the whole game, and you got an abdominal injury again. You're back to at least out for a week, if not longer. My James Farm likes the under here. Robert likes the under. You guys are liking the under with me. I think it's going to be it's a pretty strong play for me, I would think. Yeah. He's like Jermaine. He's like the consultant for team operations, and I'm controlling everything still. I just don't want to be responsible. Owning a sports team I don't know. Owning a sports team is sometimes pretty good business. It might not be as good a business as it used to be, especially now that look at the NFL. They're allowing I'm not an expert on it, but I watch the financial channel once in a while, but they let the big money come in, right? The NFL, remember, the NFL was always family ownership. It was a one family enterprise. Now you bring in the money. Now you're bringing in corporate. You can bring in partners. All right. Let's see here. Let's keep it going right now with the next one. The Thunder and the Timberwolves here. The Thunder, no stopping the Thunder. Doesn't matter. Put any spread in front of them, and it seems like it doesn't matter. Now this one's going up even higher. Here's another one. Was lower here, and you're laying tax for sure today with the Thunder. These favorites are getting taxed. But again, that's because the Thunder's on a massive winning streak here. They're covering everything in sight at this point. They didn't cover against the Heat last night, right? Was it a push for the most part? I graded myself I think I graded it a loss. Just to be fair, because I think some people may have actually won. For the most part, the line closed at 14. Now, when we were on the show yesterday, it was less than that. So I'm not taking credit for a win there. But if anyone did wait and wanted to roll with me and waited till the last minute, they might have gotten a push. But it was a 14-point win for OKC. Miami led. What is a Timber B Wolf? A Timber B Wolf. You guys, I bet you guys are probably making fun of me in the chat for not being able to spell. I always loved the Timberwolves. I remember I was working at a sports bar as an active content manager, and this was when sports bars were just starting to be the rage back in the 80s. Maybe it was the 90s. I think it was the early 90s. And we had a big party. The Timberwolves owner, Marv Wolfenson, was the guest of honor. It was in San Diego, but and I got a Timberwolves warm-up, and they were like an expansion team. And I was thought, man, I love the Timberwolves. All right, but I don't know about the Timber B Wolves. Anyways, the Wolves have lost 2 straight, failed to cover against Milwaukee and Cleveland. They're just 8-19 against the spread at home. The Timberwolves are a money burner in Minneapolis. Meanwhile, OKC, one of the best covers around, they're 31-17-3 against the spread. When you can win and cover, it seems like when they win by margin. When they lose, you know what? They're not going to cover, obviously. They either win and cover or they lose their games. It's pretty much what it comes down to when you only have 9 losses all season long. So, you're going to have to lay an increased price here in this one. But, boy, it seems like it's okay. You might want to get it now. Who knows if it'll go higher. Right now it's 7.5 at most spots, but there's some 8s out there as well. All right, let's see what you guys have in this one with the Timberwolves and the Thunder. 8 of the last 9 meetings between these two teams here in Minnesota have gone under their frequent opponents, for sure, as division rivals here. So 8 of the last 11 games under overall have gone under between these two teams. Minnesota is 8-4 to the over as an underdog, and both teams have been going over here a little bit more frequently of late. All right, now I'm going to chat. And that is a pretty serious under trend in this series. Here we go with Thomas says go under here in this one.
Final.
I'm just checking something out myself here. All right. Let's see here. SGA loves Thursday games. Cash Kane likes the Wolves. And Lando says it's an under series for sure between these two, big time. Kelly's noticing it too, says series history might be big in here. Gosh, the market is, to me, saying over a little bit, but I can't ignore and now it looks like I don't know if you guys are all going under, but man, it feels like it's going to be a consensus play on the under. Thomas says, I just played it over. What am I? He might have said, yeah, he started with an under until, no, oh, you bet it on your app or something because you commented under at the beginning too. I feel like I have a conversation with each and every one of you every morning. All right. And it's great. James Parham, OKC money line here. James also said you can't trust Minnesota right now. No, there's something wrong with Minnesota, right? I mean, they're overrated more likely than not, right? Because they're still a team that's over 500. Thomas is going over still. To me, the market kind of says over here a little bit. The move here, the steam came in on Oklahoma City. That's obvious. And the move here, it's still 222 everywhere. Johnny Walker, OKC. Probably I don't know if I can pass on OKC, but all right. I think that's going to do it for you guys in the chat, and I'm going to have to take the under here in this one. I mean, look, I usually trust the market in this spot, but man, that's a lot of unders in the season series. 8 of the last 9 at this locale and their frequent opponents. Okay, one more, and it's going to be the Clippers and the Jazz. And the Clippers are up to a 9.5 point favorite at some spots. I could call it 9, but it's going higher for sure here. The money's coming in on the Clippers. Another one where every favorite except Miami has kind of been on the move here. You're paying the favorite tax, it feels like today. Some steam came in on UC San Diego. Oh, let me get this one. Some steam just came in right now. Oral Roberts and North Dakota State. Steam right now coming in on this one with the under in Oral Roberts and North Dakota State. You'd think on the surface it'd be an over game. I know it's a high number here. Was 153.5. We're going down to 152.5. Steam coming in on the under with Oral Roberts and North Dakota State. Also, steam came in on the under in the UC San Diego Cal State Bakersfield game. It was 143 down to 142 with UC San Diego and Cal State Bakersfield steam to the under. All right. The Clippers and the Jazz here in this one. You've got the Clippers now a 9-point favorite in the total 225.5 here. Clippers have been the team on the move here right now for sure. The funny thing about this is it's really been not a good spot for the Clippers at all. They've actually lost 12 of the last 14 trips into Salt Lake City. Now, yes, Jazz may have been better over the last couple of years, but how much better? A little bit better, but still, Utah's an interesting place to play, and they got, a little bit of altitude. Yeah, they can be tough at home. I don't want to talk about this year in general, but hey, they did cover that. They got that money last night against the Lakers. They won the game last night against the Lakers. So now get a chance to host the Clippers here, a team they just lost to by 20 points as an 18-point dog. So they still almost got the money in that game. I think we lost. I think I was on the Jazz, but nonetheless, it was close to the number. Clippers have covered 5 of the last 6 meetings between the two teams, to be fair. They've really beaten them up here the last couple of times. The meeting back at LA in December was 144 to 107. And a meeting in November was 116 to 105. But that was Utah's gone over in 5 straight. The Clippers have gone over in 6 of their last 7 games overall. Clippers are 29-22 to the over as an underdog. Utah 29-22 to the over as an underdog. Utah here 30-22 to the over overall. Clippers are 9-14 to the under on the road. These numbers towards the break here does feel like they're kind of high because we're getting ready to take a break. We're getting rid of the defense is taking a break. Here we go. Clippers and Jazz in the chat. OKC was a consensus play back here, Thomas says. I missed that one. Thank you, Thomas.
Steam play.
A little bit of steam right now in college basketball. I'll give you my play here in the NBA in just a moment. Oregon State and Portland game to go under. Wow. Here in this one, we're seeing the steam come in on the under. It was 146 down to 145 here with Oregon State and Portland. Portland does usually go a little bit higher, I think, in these. This is not a non-conference game, a West Coast conference game, but it's just such an interesting one now, isn't it, with Oregon State and Portland playing a conference game? Who would have thought? Okay, let's see here. Let's try to get one more, Thomas says, because we've got to go to college basketball next. Oh, he says it was on the under. Okay, I gotcha. I understand now. As probably it should be, right? Even though you went over. So even Thomas is conceding there that the chat, I don't want to say that doesn't happen often, but and Nasty Nate says, how about those Celtics with getting the job done there yesterday? I had a double loser in that game. Okay, Robert's on the Clippers there. Last game, Kelly says, I got to lean the dog on Utah here. Lando says, got to lean Utah, or he's on Utah. James Parham, Utah. Matt D likes the over here in this Utah game. And Thomas says, Utah, consensus play tonight. You got to like them in this spot there. Right? Clippers lose this game a lot of times now. Like I said, they've definitely come back. And everybody on the back-to-back, right? So you're the Clippers. You just played at home. Now you got to go play on the road. One game before a whole mess of days off. That's what some of these teams are facing. Yeah, there's a couple all-stars there, maybe one. But, or is it? Or do they I'm trying to think about that. I don't remember now. Did Harden make it, or I'm trying to remember? Okay, I think that's it from you guys in the chat, and that'll do it. Let's see. If you guys are going on Utah, maybe I should consider the. Yeah, I will. I will take the over with you. I'll take the over. I'll give out the over here. I kind of need some premiums tonight, but maybe I'm going to use Utah. That's what I think I'm going to do. So give me the over here with Clippers and Utah as well. Okay, that's it for the NBA. Let's go to college. I've tried to pick the best of the mid-major games today, except for the Coastal, because look, when I want to watch Coastal League basketball, I got to hope I can find a sports book with a live stream. I had to draw the line somewhere. Now, I love you guys subscribing. It lets me watch a lot of games, have these great services. They say, why sell? But I can't afford Flow Sports for one league, basically. So if you does anybody in the chat subscribe to Flow Sports? Let me know. Should I get it? Because that's when I had to draw the line. I said, you know what? I love the Colonial. If I can get the games elsewhere, if I can get it on a live stream and I need to watch that game. But I would say the Colonial, Coastal used to be the Colonial, but you know what I mean. And in that conference, I would say that I bet less on that conference than any other conference because of the fact that I cannot get the games as much. I don't see them as much as I do other teams. All right, here we go. Cal Baptist. Cal Baptist. I'm on Cal Baptist. Tell you what, I'm on Cal Baptist. We don't even need to go into it. We will go into it, but I'll come up with a few notes here. UC Davis is getting steamed right now in their game tonight. UC Davis against Riverside. Oh, I think I've got this one in the preview here, actually, because that's a pretty big game. It was UC Davis +1, but I think it's going to be UC Davis -1 here soon. It's already a pick'em, I see. Could Davis move to the favorite here? They're taking the steam right now in that matchup against Riverside. All right. So for Cal Baptist here against UT Arlington, I mean, look, Cal Baptist just beat Grand Canyon. I mean, that just shows you where they are right now on the scope of things. Cal Baptist is on a roll here. They're only 12-11, but they beat Grand Canyon. They beat Abilene. They won at Southern Utah. Yeah, Southern Utah came back and beat them, but Monmouth and Stony Brook, the game right above this on the top, the 5 Eastern 2 start, that's taking the steam right now here on the under. And boy, I like that one too. Almost want to just go with it and say that's a play, even though I don't have it in the preview. It was 142 down to 141. I like Monmouth and Stony Brook under. And in addition, I'm going to put that in as a play. I don't have a panel for it, but it's going down right now. I'm going to have to sacrifice a point or two here to bet this after the show. But I like Monmouth and Stony Brook under in that first game. Now, in this game, I like Cal Baptist. I think I'm pretty solid on that. UT Arlington have lost a couple games in a row to Seattle and Utah Valley on the road. They're usually a little bit better at home, 7-2 straight up, but still, UT Arlington 3-6 against the spread at home. Cal Baptist has probably been disappointing until recently, but I think they're getting their groove back. They are 5-11 against the spread as a favorite, so I can't really go over and say many big trends that are kind of pointing to Cal Baptist, other than they beat Grand Canyon the other day, and I'm pretty impressed. So I'm going to end up here on Cal Baptist as my play in this one. Arlington has won these home games for sure of late. Like I said, Utah Tech, Southern Utah, they beat Abilene. They didn't cover, though, against Utah Tech and Southern Utah. So I'm taking Cal Baptist. And don't forget Monmouth and Stony Brook under. So we've got bets in both of those 5 o'clock games when I come on that other show over on that other channel. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm on a show at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 Pacific. You can Google it, called The Happy Hour. Okay. See what we got here? Anything in this one? Jerry says, yeah, man, I did not like the champion. I didn't even mention it yesterday because I was pretty disappointed with myself. I could only claim one premium winner, and that was Atalanta and Club Brugge game to go over, but I couldn't really get one right. We needed the help of the guys. Okay, Nebraska, Omaha, and South Dakota State taking some steam here right now in this matchup. We're seeing steam here to the under in the matchup with Omaha and South Dakota. I'm not sure I'm too into it, but it's going to go from 152 down to 151 here right now with Omaha and South Dakota State. Also, St. Francis and Stonehill. Steam to the under here with St. Francis and Stonehill. This one was 137. It's down to 136 here with St. Francis and Stonehill. St. Francis, as a road dog, they have a few unders, or at least scores that are a little bit lower than this. Okay, let me get back to the action here. Next up, I want to see if we got any plays here. Thomas was on UC Davis with that steam there. Jerry's talking about the Flow Sports. Thank you, Jerry. He is subscribing to it. I'm sure that some of you guys down there, in the floor, in those regions, have that one. I mean, I have every service but that one. It feels like, and I spend several $100s a month. That's why I've got to win the bets and uh, uh, sell the premium, sell the premium content, so I can watch all the games I love to watch and come on the show and pretend like I know what I'm talking about. Fernando had the winners here yesterday. I should have been listening. James Parham on Cal Baptist with me. Jerry says he likes the they do have the motorbike racing there, right, on Flow. UT Arlington for Jerry. Kelly here says under in Bill and Mary today. All right. And let's see here. Lando says in the Cal Baptist game, last 20 Thursday games versus conference. Well, these ones are always interesting, right? Because the thing is, you're like, they only play on Thursday. But you know who they're playing on Thursday are conference opponents, right? And that's your usual weekday game in those conferences. So there is a little bit of something to that. I know Mike wants me to loosen up a little bit and try to, look all the way through the trend. And I see it. I know what I'm looking at there. I know some people would be quick to say, and I always joke about it, right? Well, they really like to play on Thursday or whatever, under 140. They're really tired on whatever it is. But there is something to that because those are usually the days you play the conference games. And you go to school on certain days, right? You have practices on certain days, and then you travel on certain days. There is something to it for sure. Jerry says, give me Omaha. Kelly's got some plays here. All right. Fernando didn't like the performance by AC Milan there. Jerry's got Stonehill and under as an SGP. How about that? Oh, okay. Thomas said his nephew transferred from St. Francis. Okay. Next up, I'll go to the next one here. And did I give out my... Oh, I didn't even go to the next game. Okay, here we go. Jacksonville State and Sam Houston. In this one, you've got Sam Houston did take the steam here at -1.5. Call it right now. This one is actually up here to
Steam play.
Whoa. Right now, Sam Houston is 1.5 for the most part. I don't know if there's any 2s out there anymore. Little steam coming in the background here, though, with Jacksonville and Central Arkansas. Steam to the under here in this one. It was 137. We're down to 134 right now. Huge move this morning. Jacksonville and Central Arkansas steam to the under here. 134. Holding on at 135, 135.5 in a few books, but Bet Online's ready to move to 134 here, 134.5. Also, Jacksonville took the steam in that game, so it could be personnel related. Jacksonville was a 10-point favorite, but they're going to be up to a 11.5, even 12 right now at Bet Online. Jacksonville and the under on the move here. That indicates maybe a Central Arkansas scorer might be out. We know they've already, let me see here. Well, I can't waste that much time looking at it here on the air in depth, but Okay, so Jacksonville took the steam and the under took the steam in that one. That was Jacksonville. This is Jacksonville State, just to make it clear. Hope there wasn't any confusion. I didn't even realize that was going on. But Jacksonville State is our preview game here in the matchup with Sam Houston. Sam Houston, about a 1.5 point favorite here right now. Jacksonville State's a much better team. They're on a big-time winning streak, and Sam Houston's on a losing streak. But Sam Houston has gained the favoritism here by 1.5. Jacksonville State is 14-7 against the spread. Sam Houston's 5-16 against the spread. What gives in the matchup here tonight with Jacksonville State and Sam Houston? Because this one really feels like it should be all about Jacksonville State. But Sam at home, they are 5-3 straight up, and well, Jacksonville State is just 5-5 straight up on the road. But Jacksonville State's won 9 of their last 10 coming in. They're 9-4 against the spread as an underdog. Sam Houston's just 1-5 against the spread at home. So it's really tough to, I guess it's one of those sharp games at this point with Sam. See what you guys have, if anything here, if I've described this game appropriately here. The Sharps are all over Sam, I guess. They just play numbers, you know that. They don't even know the names of these teams. All right. I'm going to the chat and see if you guys have anything here in this one. Here we go with Thomas does like Sam. And Jerry says, Sam or stay away. But he said, what the hell is Sam Houston doing laying points? And Kelly says, I've got to like Jacksonville State against Sam. This is crazy. Kelly says they played just a few days ago or a couple weeks ago, and it was 70-62 is a 2.5 point spread, and that one Jacksonville State won and covered at home, laying a small number that doesn't make any sense. James Parham on Sam. And Kelly says, they're hot. They're hot. Why wouldn't you take them here? So it could be tough. I mean, Jacksonville State 8-2. What did I say? 8-7-3 last 10 on the road. Some people might have them 8-2 last 10 on the road against the spread. Jacksonville State's gone under in 4 of their last 5 games on the road. Sam Houston does go kind of over here, 5-1 to the over at home. So, all right, whatever. I'm taking Jacksonville State. If Sam wins, that's why they call them the Sharps. Just taking advantage of us squares out here. Seattle and Abilene here in this one, and that would be worth taking even a deeper dive here right now into the WAC. We just talked about, of course, the Cal Baptist game, but this one probably is a little bit better with Seattle and Abilene. Seattle's 5-4. They're not going to catch Utah Valley at this point, but they are 5-4 here in this one up against Abilene, just 3-6, but it's at home and it's a close matchup. So thought to take a look here at the WAC today. Seattle comes in 10-13. Abilene is 11-13 coming into this one. Abilene, both teams actually have won 2 straight coming in. Abilene with wins over Southern Utah and Utah Tech. They covered the spread in both those games. Seattle won against Arlington last out, and Tarleton before that. They did cover against Tarleton at home, but failed against Arlington on the road in a 2-point win as a 9.5-point favorite. Seattle is just 2-8 against the spread on the road, and Abilene is 6-4 against the spread at home, but Abilene is 2-9 against the spread as an underdog. 4 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams have gone under, but Seattle's been trending over a little bit of late. Still, they are 4-8 to the under as a favorite, and Abilene is 1-6 to the under at home. However, Seattle's 6-4 to the over on the road, and Abilene is 8-3 to the over at home. All right, now that I've totally confused you here with this one, what do you want to do when Seattle takes on Abilene Christian? Probably nothing. Let's see what we got. Abilene and Arlington for Jerry as a parlay. How about that? Robert took Seattle in this one. The first meeting was won by Seattle at home, but they did not cover in that game. And Thomas says, I've had enough. I'm confused. All right. And I'm going to take Abilene Christian here at home. I know I'm going against Robert here, but I'm going to try Abilene Christian in this one, in the wacky whack. All right. Let's go on to let's try this one. How about Marshall taking on South Alabama here in this one, with South Alabama favored by 6 points here at home in this matchup. The total here is 138. Two teams that, they've definitely had some unders, talking about Marshall and South Alabama here. Marshall comes in 15-10. South Alabama comes in 16-9. So pretty key game here, it feels like, right now with these two. Marshall has won 2 straight coming in victories over Arkansas State. They got the money in that one. And they beat Coastal but failed as an 11.5-point favorite. Currently in the Sun Belt standings, South Alabama is 8-4 in third place, just a half a game back of Troy. Marshall also 8-4 in the standings right now. So key game here for these two teams. This race is still wide open. Arkansas State's in first place with just a 10-3 record. So these teams are just a game and a half back out of first place right now. It has been a wild time in the Sun Belt. South Alabama's coming in here off of a road loss, 80-65. They were playing in the bracket buster game, however, so you could almost write it off. And they were playing a road game at Akron. Yeah, you want to do well in the bracket buster game, but they might be the guys getting their bracket busted here. It feels like. Marshall is 7-2-1 against the spread in their last 10. South Alabama just 3-7 against the spread. So lately, Marshall has been the hotter team, it feels like, coming in. South Alabama is 7-16 to the under this season, including 2-8 to the under in their last 10. Meanwhile, Marshall is 3-6-1 to the under in their games as an underdog. Let's see here if you got anything with Marshall and South Alabama here. I'm going to take the under. I'm done. I like under here with this game. And Thomas may be on South Alabama here. And I think Jerry was saying the WAC teams going into Texas have been a little bit of an issue. All right, I'm going under in the South Alabama game. Marshall's gone under in 4 of their last 6 on the road. South Alabama's gone under in not only 8 of their last 10, but 4 of their last 5 games at home. So I'll go under with Marshall and South Alabama. All right, the only one game that kind of messes up the theme of the show here is Maryland and Nebraska with the Big Ten game of the night here. Maryland is ranked 25th. Right now, they're coming in off of a win. Nebraska's won 4 straight. They're hot. Nebraska with wins and covers over Ohio State, Washington, Oregon, Illinois. Nebraska is smoking right now. Maryland, however, has won 7 of the last 8 meetings between these two teams. Still, Nebraska's 21-4 straight up in their last 25 overall, 7-2 against the spread. Their last 9 at home, while Maryland just 2-5 against the spread on the road this season. And straight up, too. This is barely a pick'em game, so you got to kind of look at that, right? Nebraska 13-2 straight up as a favorite. They are still right now 1-point favorite, 1.5 even. So the favoritism is there. Maryland is just 1-3 straight up as an underdog. Maryland comes in 16-9 to the over this season. Meanwhile, Nebraska 8-6 to the over at home. Maryland's gone over in 4 of their last 5 games on the road. I want to use Nebraska as a premium, but I don't know what's going to happen with the total. So I'm going to use Nebraska right now, and I feel pretty strong about Nebraska today. And I'm sure I'm not the only one out there that's going to be liking Nebraska. I think Nebraska is going to be pretty popular with paid touts like me. Let's see if you got any opinion on the Big Ten game of the night here. Thomas says, give me the Cornhuskers. Jerry's going with that under in South Alabama. Thomas liked, what is that for this game or the other game? Nebraska at home, the line is telling. What is it? I don't know, Jerry. Let me see here. Let me try to interpret. I mean, I'm already on Nebraska, so is it saying that Nebraska is going to win because the line is moving slightly in Nebraska's favor here? Don't want to sell Maryland short. I mean, they're playing pretty great. Yeah, they lost that game to Ohio State. I was on Ohio State in that game, but they beat Rutgers. Didn't cover. It was a push. Won and covered at home against Wisconsin. Failed against Indiana on the road as a favorite, but won the game. Won easily in a cover at Illinois. All right. Robert going to roll with Nebraska. Like I said, I feel like it's a strong play, but I don't know. I'm not sure about the total at this point. All right, let's go to another one here. Got a few more here. The show will be over. Thank you for joining. Oh, look at this. Thomas said Nebraska was a consensus play here. Right, we needed it. Did I miss the other one? It was Utah. Tell me, Utah and Nebraska. All right, I'll get it. Oklahoma City under. Thank you, sir. Yes, of course. Okay. Forgive me, Thomas. I usually have them all written down there. Maybe I made a little scribble on that when we thought Oklahoma City at first. Okay. Liberty and New Mexico State. Liberty on the road here in this one, a 4-point favorite on the road. Liberty comes in 19-5 right now. Remember when it was New Mexico State back in the day? They'd win every year, every time. New Mexico State has lost 2 in a row coming into this one against UTEP and Western Kentucky. They haven't been looking good, really of late, talking about the Aggies. And now they're a dog here to Liberty. The teams met a couple weeks ago. It was 68-60. Liberty won the game at home and covered by 1 point. They won by 8. They were favored by 7, but they got it done, did Liberty. New Mexico State is 7-13 to the under this season, 2-8 to the under. In their last 10, they've gone under in 5 straight at home. Now, Liberty is kind of an under team, although on the road they do play a little bit higher scoring games. I do like the under. I just thought it was going to be a little bit higher, and I got to be honest, I've lost some unders here of late on some of these low totals, but I'm going to take it here right now. I am going to take the under with Liberty. Maybe I'm not going to have it as a premium, obviously, but I am going to try the under here for a smaller play on the show in this one with Liberty and New Mexico State. I think for me, it's mostly New Mexico State and their home conference games as an underdog when it's happened. It used to never happen, but it does seem like now that it is starting to happen that those scores feel like they're a little bit lower to me. New Mexico State just went for 129 in that loss to UTEP. They had just 124 in the loss to Jacksonville State. They had 125 in the loss to Kennesaw. They're losing the games and they're going under, it feels like, right now at home in those games.
System playing.
All right. You guys got something, let me know. I'm just going to go under here. Maybe Liberty makes a premium. It's possible. Thomas is on New Mexico State. Jerry's on New Mexico State. Robert's on New Mexico State. You guys like New Mexico State. Okay. So issue caution right away because I'm like, well, obviously New Mexico State's having some struggles. It doesn't feel like the old New Mexico State right now, but got to respect what the chat's saying a little bit here. My chat about New Mexico State still being New Mexico State. Maybe they can get this one in this matchup against Liberty. All right. New Mexico State's a consensus. Wow. Okay, that'll probably have to keep me off Liberty. I was seriously thinking about. I almost went with Liberty as my play because I like the under, but I keep getting burned a little bit on some of those. And I'm never going to stop doing it, though, Jerry. I can't do it. Can't stop going on the unders. All right. We already talked about Riverside and Davis to a certain that the steam came in on Davis here in this game. I believe I've gone out of order here a little bit, so I apologize for that. Yeah, sorry about that. Davis game should have been ahead of ahead of the last game we just previewed, but nonetheless, here we are on mid-major Thursday. UC Davis has won 2 games in a row here, coming off victories against Cal State Fullerton, a win and cover, Long Beach State on the road. They did get that money. They also covered in losses before that on the road against Irvine and against Riverside. So they've covered 4 straight, and they're taking the money here early on. In fact, right now, they're actually a 1-point favorite at Bovada currently. Still 1-point dog at Circa. Total has moved down to 134.5. These teams did meet just a couple of weeks ago. It was UC Riverside winning this one 60-58, but they were favored by 5 in that game. Davis actually ended up getting the money there in that one. Davis so far this season 7-2 straight up at home, 8-2 straight up, or 7-2 straight up at home. Riverside 5-8 straight up on the road. Both teams are good against the number for sure. UC Davis is a hardcore under right now, 7-14 to the under this season, 1-5-1 to the under at home, and 3-6-1 to the under as a favorite. I'm going to take another under here in this one. I might like Davis, but I'm going to go under here with this one between Riverside and Davis. Maybe I'll let that steam speak for itself, but I think I'm going to trust that Davis at home, if they do win this game, I would think it'll be a lower score. So, all right, see what you guys have here in this one with anything Riverside and Davis. Here's Thomas on Davis. And Jerry says he liked Riverside, but the line's moving to Davis, and it should be a signal there. You look at these Davis games of late at home, 68-66 against Hawaii. They covered all those road games, man. That's impressive. All right, I'm going to take the under. I might be taking Davis.
System playing.
All right, one more. Should be a good one tonight. Gonzaga is hosting San Francisco. San Francisco 20-6. Gonzaga 18-7 this season. And hey, what can you say? Gonzaga's not quite Gonzaga. They're going to finish short of this conference title for sure. They might not even be ahead of San Francisco if they lose this one, but they're big favorites at home. Doesn't seem like they should be, right? I mean, San Francisco's done a pretty heck of a good job, especially defensively. The Dons come in here having won 4 straight with 3 straight covers against LMU, St. Mary's, and Washington State. San Francisco is just 2-4 against the spread as an underdog, but Gonzaga's 5-10 against the spread at home. They're probably overvalued in every game. They just failed against Pacific. They failed against LMU. They lost to St. Mary's on the road as a favorite. But, oh man, maybe here this might be just low enough to want to come back on Gonzaga. See what you guys have here with this one. Gonzaga 14 points against USF. Ugh. I don't want to do it, but I might. All right, let's go to the chat and see what you have in this one. Gonzaga and San Francisco. Nothing, pretty much. You guys are pretty much done with me. Got 60 of you in here. Show's almost over. Get ready for the drawing. You guys can enter in the information there to make sure you're eligible. Robert says, just go over in the game with San Francisco and Gonzaga. Gonzaga is 15-10 to the over this season. 10-5 to the over at home. San Francisco is 2-5 to the over as an underdog. 5 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams here in Spokane have gone under. San Francisco has covered 4 of the last 6 years against Gonzaga in Spokane. Let's go. That's it. I think that's it. All right. I'll just make my call, and then the show is going to be over. And I'll take. I don't want to take Gonzaga, but I'm going to take Gonzaga. I'm going to take Gonzaga here. The pull away against USF. USF's had a good year in San Francisco. I'm glad someone's taking USF. Put me in my place if I get this one wrong. All right, it's going to do it for the Morning Steam show. Remember, you can get my best plays over at winnable.com/Ramon. Got plays in NBA and college basketball today. Also, if you go over there right now, they haven't teed off yet for the Genesis Invitational. You can get my golf plays by subscribing to the free picks over at winnable.com. Click the QR code in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. That'll take you over to my Winnable page. You see it there on the left. It's got my picture. You'll know you're in the right place. And then you can subscribe. You see the subscriptions there. There is a paywall subscription, but there's also a free subscription there. And when you choose that free subscription, that will get you to the golf plays and other plays that I send out as complimentary plays to try to show you that, hey, why not get the subscription plays? They're only 50 cents a day when you subscribe for 1 month at $19.95. It supports me here on the show, here on the Sports Money Network, where, viewers support it. So anytime you guys give those subs, buy those memberships, look, I also want to talk, Mike, we have other tiers of subscriptions. You can get Mike's plays and the plays from the guys here. Right now, this is how my plays get out to you guys, my additional content we're trying to consolidate all that. But right now, this is how you get in touch with me, by subscribing over there at winnable.com. Okay, we're going to do the drawing now. The most exciting part, when I don't screw it up and we get it on the screen at the right time and I don't push the wrong button. Oh, I did it right that time. How about that? We've got 4 teams in our contest tonight. Oklahoma City, under. Utah Jazz. I think I'm getting this right. It's Oklahoma City under. Yeah, there it is. Thomas typo, but we know what you mean. So Oklahoma City under, Utah Jazz, Nebraska, and New Mexico State. Okay, here we go. Gonna be right now. Blue, Jermaine, Old E, Nasty Nate, Irish King, Toucan, One Time, Joe Wadzinski, Nate the Great, Old E, Irish King, Jermaine, and Jerry Davis. Jerry, I'm so honored that you have at least won this chance to win this 4-teamer. And hey, if we get, well, I don't know, 250 views by the time the games start today at 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 Eastern, I know that. I can figure that much out. That's about a $25 win, and I'd be honored to send Jerry $25. I'm more honored that he has won and gotten the chance to be announced as a winner, because he does such a great job for us as a member of the Chat All-Stars. So thank you, Jerry, for everything that you do for us with your great information in the chat. And hopefully 1,000 people watch today's morning steam. Now, that has never happened. We barely made 400 or 500 one time, I think. But more views, I'll put 1 penny in there. And if we get 300 views and it's a 4-teamer like that, that'll be close to $30. You know, there might be some 115s in there. Whatever it is I punch in, I'll tell you what you won. You know how it works. Thanks, Jerry, for everything. Thank you guys for everything here on the Morning Steam Show. Hey, you can catch my MMA coverage with my great analyst, VB MMA Picks, here on the Sports Money YouTube channel. We recorded our show on Tuesday, and we had RoboCop as our analyst here this week, and we previewed the coverage for UFC Fight Night this week. There's a great card. We also had First Strike this week as well. So check out our UFC coverage as we're ready to roll this weekend with that main event. Cannonier versus Rodriguez. The middleweights do battle in Las Vegas, and we also previewed 2 other fights, and they also previewed their 4 best plays on First Strike with Sub, with Jeff, with, of course, Mikey Money, and Fanatical Jim. So check out the guys there on First Strike and my show with VB as part of our coverage here this weekend for UFC Fight Night. All right, I guess that's going to do it. I do have the play there. I think I gave it out with I'm taking Finland. I'm taking Finland plus a goal and a half. Maybe I'll take them plus 2.5 even against US. I just don't see the urgency. Didn't see it from Canada. Not sure how. Yes, it might be a bigger discrepancy than Canada going up against Sweden when USA takes on Finland, but maybe not 350 much. So I'm going to take Finland today, and I do have that future on Finland as well. Just wanted to get into the somehow. If they win this game, I guess I'm in business. This is the one they would probably need to win. All right, it's going to do it here on the Morning Steam. Have a great day. Catch Mikey Money today at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific with pre-gaming. He'll preview the primetime action, including that game between Finland and the United States and the NBA card for tonight. For the Sports Money Network, I'm Ramon Scott. So long. We'll see you tomorrow.
steam, it's time to break one for cover. That's gonna cover, that's gonna cash. Then we make the 100-yard dash to the window. I don't know what you thought. It's Ramon Scott, running so hot. Sports make money and we make money with sports money every single day. NFL, NHL, NCAA. Stay away from the juice or might play a parlay. It's the morning steam. What? Ramon Scott, sports money. What? Wake your ass up and let's get to the money. Get to the money.